Hey guys, it's Faith Gaming here. I hope you're well. Guys, got another matchup for you. Multiplayer battle in Total War Warhammer 2. We have Lizardmen versus the Beastmen. Armies are there for you to take a quick look at. I will run through them in game. Let me just slow it down very quickly. So starting with mine, I've gone with 3 sets of Saurus Warriors with shields for a front line. 2 sets of Temple Guard, just sat behind them, kind of left and right flank. 2 sets of the Skink cohort. 2 sets of Skink skirmishers. The other one's over there, and a set of chameleon skinks. 2 of these feral cold ones, and an ancient stegodon, and a saurus oldblood on a carnosaur. Crocs has gone with 2 sets of the centaurs with the throwing axes. Kazrak on his chariot. 2 gore herds with shields. Sorry, are they gore herds? Or are they ungore? Sorry, 2 sets of gore herds with the shields on the kind of my left, and then 3 as his front line here. 2 sets of these Ungor Raiders. 3 sets of Ungor Spearhead. 1 set of Razor Gores, and 2 sets of Minotaurs. These ones have got great weapons. They have great weapons too, so 2 with great weapons. Sorry, I forgot to mention, I've got a set of these Pterodon Riders with the Fire Bowlers as well. My plan was, I thought he'd have quite a lot of these Centigores and kind of Razor Herds, maybe Chaos Warhounds, you can bring it out. But he did bring 3 sets of, the 2 sets of Centigores and that Razor Gore Herd. And I didn't really bring anything that could challenge that, so my idea was to stay in the woods where, using the Ancient Stegodon to kind of make him move in. Staying in the woods where he'd kind of, the speed and stuff of that cavalry would be slightly negated and maybe a bit of a better time fighting him in here. But we'll see how that pans out in a second. Just giving his Lizardman a bit of a pep talk before the battle. Brings his Minotaurs up on the hill here, and I basically tried to just to start sniping them with the Ancient Stegodon. They're going to be a pain. He's probably going to try and single out my Lord with them, having them great weapons as well. And the great weapons means they'll also do pretty sick damage to the Stegodon should they kind of lock into combat with him. Would I take the Ancient Stegodon again? I'm not. Sorry, the normal Stegodon. Would I take the Stegodon again? I'm not sure. I don't know whether I got the use that I wanted out of it, but I started to bring the chameleon skinks and the skinks up and around just to try and cause a bit of hassle and try and get him to try and commit. I see an opportunity where these raiders are going to be blatantly left alone, so I start to move these feral cold ones. And I definitely wouldn't bring these again. Start to bring these feral cold ones out and around to try and smash these quickly, to then come back and kind of have my feral cold ones in a decent position to flank. He comes in with these gore herds, the Minotaurs from this side, and kind of a full frontal attack into my Saurus with these kind of gore herds. These Minotaurs make a push straight through, like I thought, to try and single out my Saurus Oldblood. But with the kind of Stegodons there, I throw in a Skink cohort to try and add a couple of numbers and just start picking them out. They do actually get pretty swamped. I'll slow it down just so you can run through what's joined and what's going on. But these feral cold ones lock into these Ungor Raiders, who there's twice now I've kind of underestimated these guys in 2 different games. They're not like normal infantry. They don't just seem to fall over when you kind of throw things into them. Like these guys, they haven't got crazy stats, but they've got good enough stats. I know they've got small unit numbers, but they just don't do very well against them. It takes them quite a long time, and they lose quite a lot of units to these guys doing. These guys got the Ungor Raiders. 25 melee attack is pretty good. Terrible melee defense, but and pretty good weapon strength, kind of 26. For archers, that's not bad at all, and I need to stop thinking that I can just throw things into these and they will come out kind of alright. I'll come back to these in a bit. You notice they take quite a lot of damage. I get a good set of bombs off here from these Pterodon Riders. In fairness, it doesn't do a hell of a lot of damage to these guys. You take a quick look. Not for the kind of the time and effort it takes to line that up. Not really the outcome I wanted. these Minotaurs, you'll see that one group of them is absolutely punished. So yeah, the this will be a good fight here with the Temple Guard. Kind of two sets of Goreheads in on them, a set of Razorgors and Khazrak. They'll hold their own pretty well, and their Temple Guard are they're pretty beastly. Really hold their own. These lines here, the Saurus warriors against kind of Ungor Spearheads. There's a set of Besticles in there, but these guys will rack up some serious kills butchering those Ungors. He's got these Centaurs thrown in on my boss as my kind of Saurus Old Blood, and you'll see he takes quite a lot of damage in this fight. Even though he does send off the Minotaurs, he does take quite a substantial amount of damage. These Saurus as well will mostly kind of Goreheads and Ungorheads. They will decimate that. Flick back, even in the time we've been kind of away, they haven't done a hell of a lot of damage. These guys do get singled out by these Centaurs, and yeah, they are large, so they will take quite a lot of damage. I'll put it back onto back on full speed. Chameleon Skinks, yeah, just using these Skinks to send the Temple Guard in to try and save my boss from taking any more damage. We do send off these Minotaurs, and their front lines do kind of do hit a retreat. All these Goreheads and Ungorheads, they do run, and some of my kind of Saurus racking up pretty decent kills all in all. I send these Pterodons out to try and support, and my Chameleon Skinks to try and support these Feral Cold ones, because I would still like to have them on the field. These guys haven't done terribly, 35 kills here. These guys have only got 3 kills, but these guys managed to kill 8 of them. He's only got 33, but I think maybe these Centaurs and Thrown Axes have done a fair amount of damage to these guys, killed them where they stood. The Skink Skirmishers actually pull off some quite decent damage on those Centaurs. I see Khazrak in here, and I see an opportunity to try and get a bit of damage done to him with my Saurus Old Blood on his Carnosaur, and also send in another set of Temple Guard here to try and hold back these kind of Razorgore heads and stuff here. And this is kind of where I see the battle in the end game being, so I kind of want to keep my Carnosaur and stuff around here. He's taking quite a lot of damage though. Khazrak sees this opportunity and kind of comes in to try and finish him off. I was quite surprised at this guy. He didn't put up as much of a fight as I thought. Maybe I should have spent a little bit more money and taken Kroc out, but yeah, hindsight and such. These Minotaurs came back from kind of routing and just get picked out by skirmishers. We finally finish off the Ungor Raiders on this side with our Feral Cold ones. I think these ones routed and came back, and then yeah, these guys finished those. Our Saurus, which is a nightmare, they rampage and they come out of the woods and they start charging. Yeah, granted they go into a set of Ungor shields and do a bit of damage there, but the Centaurs just kind of run away from them and just be ahead of them, hurling axes back, and they'll do quite a lot of damage to those guys. It's a real pain. They're decent infantry, but when they rampage like that, it's a bit of a nightmare. They're an expensive unit to just watch kind of rampage across the battlefield. On this front, he's really thrown everything into those Temple Guard. Like, there's Ungors in there, Besticles, Ungor Spears, Goreheads, Razorgores over here. The Minotaurs are back as well. Khazrak is kind of in on my cold one, my Old Blood, Saurus Old Blood. Not looking good. Stegodon's just sat back, doing some damage. Not really picked up the amount of kills I would have liked, or kind of committed much to the battle. I think he finally sees off my my Old Blood there, which is a big shock to the morale. But surprisingly, these guys they do stick in. They do kind of try and hold their own for a little bit. Looking around the battle, I'm not sure we've got the kind of melee infantry left to deal with this big patch here. We've got this Stegodon, which will kind of try and hold its own for quite a while, and quite a lot of health, quite a lot of armor, a bit of a beastly unit, but it's not going to survive this kind of morale-wise. A lot of our stuff starts to head out, and we haven't really got a lot regrouping ourselves because my Saurus come back here. But these Saurus here, they went out and chased after these kind of Ungor. These Ungor last a long time in this fight, which gives kind of the Raiders a chance to just pepper them from a distance, kind of on their flank as well, so doing some good damage. This set of Temple Guard and stuff just absolutely falls to bits here, just due to the kind of numbers, and he does go in and try and chase my Skinks, which is kind of the last healthy unit on the field. do like the skink kind of, these guys, just set them on skirmish and let them run, and Kazrak does his best to get into these guys, and for all it's worth, for how cheap they are and such, they do a hell of a lot of damage to him, kind of once I put them back on run, just from peppering him with their missile damage. They do kind of lock in on my Ancient Stegodon here, which, I keep calling it Ancient Stegodon, it's just a Stegodon. I get some returners, some skinks, some Temple Guards come back, but looking around, it's all a bit late. These Saurus here, rout. These ones, Feral Cold ones, rout. These Saurus here, routed, just literally being peppered by arrows. They don't do so well. Just getting hit from a distance by kind of those raiders, especially with their flank exposed. These Bolas, Pterodon Riders with Fire Bolas, they run out of ammo, so toss them in at the same time as kind of these skinks come in. And these Temple Guard making their way back to the fight, but everyone's pretty unhealthy. Stegodon's starting to lose morale. We'll check on Kazrakla. He's lost the best part of 2,000 HP to these guys, just trying to pin them down, which he'll never ever do. They are dropped below 2k now. I think if I could have managed to take him down, I probably, I would have had a better time. All he's got left then is these Centaurs with throwing axes, these Raiders who are pretty unhealthy. I reckon if I could have got Kazrak down, luckily he sends in, well, unlucky for him, he sends him into my Stegodon, who puts up a good fight, and he's knocking on 1,000 HP now, and his morale's starting to waver. I've still got all of these skinks. Granted, they've got some ammo left, not a hell of a lot. Some of these Saurus have come back as well. If you watch Kazrak, his HP, if you'd have forgotten about him for maybe another second, I'm not sure why that didn't register, maybe ward save or something kicked in, but the Stegodon just routes. He sees that Kazrak is very, very low on HP and pulls him out. He chases down the Stegodon for the kind of right reasons. If I could have just kind of got him to rout, I think some of this other stuff would have followed suit as well, and probably would have been for a kind of an epic finish, but I think with the Stegodon gone on the way out, and only these Chameleon Skinks left, whose morale is hanging on. Yeah, this see the end of the game in motion, and yeah, it does take me there, which is a good match overall. Like, kind of unfortunate that Feral Cold ones aren't kind of the units didn't do a little bit better in some of the fights with the Raiders and kind of be able to use them after that. The Saurus rampaging from the front was a bit of a pain. Temple Guard kind of proving their worth, holding their own pretty well. Maybe should have taken Kroc and not skimped out on just an old blood, because he really didn't hold his own as well as I'd have hoped. And I probably wouldn't take the Stegodon again. Maybe have just taken 2 of the Bastillodons, or maybe another set of Temple Guard, or yeah, not sure. Kills on his side. Minotaur's not really doing a lot of work. I think they're thrown in quite quickly to try and blat down my boss, which, for right or wrong, they did enough damage to him for Kazrak to single him out. Some of these Senegals with thrown axes, not great kills, but obviously have done a fair bit of damage, I'd imagine, throughout the fight. Gorehirds are just a fodder. The best Gorehird there, getting some good kills, and Kazrak on that chariot is absolutely lethal. Kind of just roll him around and he will rack up real decent kills. From our side, Saurus holding their own until kind of Rampage and getting low and picked out. Like I said, Saurus Old Blood maybe not the best choice. Skink Skirmishers, I feel like they're very useful, but I think they're kind of circumstantial useful, which maybe I didn't have there. I complained about these Feral Cold ones. They got some good kills, but they weren't kind of what I was expecting them to be. I thought kind of they'd be a bit more like a damage dealer, maybe, same as kind of a Squig Herds, but yeah, obviously not. GG, good fight, enjoyed that. First game was Lizardmen as well, so I come across them quite a lot and they're quite dangerous. I maybe should have taken some more large units, as a lot of other people do, rather than trying to... I knew this was going to be quite a heavy infantry army there, so I tried to maybe what I thought would counter that. Maybe the next time drop the Feral Cold ones, drop the Stegodon, and just take another two or three melee units and see how that goes. But yeah, guys, if you like the video, please give it a like, subscribe to the channel, I'm releasing regular content. As I've said in a couple of my other videos, we are waiting for Steel Faith Overhaul to be complete. Keen to get a couple of Steel Faith campaigns going, various campaigns. If anyone, you've got any specifics you'd like to see, or campaigns you'd like me to do, then yeah, let me know. Let me know how you thought the battle went. If you thought I could have, what I could have done better, what maybe you'd have taken army choices, Lizardman. Crocs has really found his feet with the Beastman setup, and yeah, it's a real hard one to counter. I haven't played him as Crooked Moon yet, so I'm keen to have a bash of that, see how they hold up against the Gobos. But guys, until the next one, I'll catch you again. Be safe. Cheers.